扮後生時咧，要點下着斑，咪馬。
粵劇新力軍一齊導賞任白戲寶。
一個女性啦，可以喺個公堂裏面壓得住，佢真係好似一個好公正嘅官嚟嘅喎。我自己本身就特別欣賞仙姐嘅口白，真係講得好好聽，好有高低跌宕。
與星光同行，今晚10點半。
A new survey has found that people living in subdivided flats are more prone to health problems from the summer heat because of their housing conditions.
There are calls for the government to set up a fund to help tenants pay for air conditioning. Yeung reports.
While Hong Kong bakes in the scorching summer heat, a lot of people will be able to cool off in their air-conditioned homes. But for low-income families living in subdivided flats, there's no escape from the hot weather, not even in their own homes. In some subdivided units, temperatures inside are even hotter than outside because of poor ventilation. Air conditioning is beyond the reach of most tenants due to expensive electricity. Mrs. Yeung and her family of 5 live in this 100-square-foot room. She says it's too hot to stay at home in the summer. She can't open any windows either because they're blocked, and she says she suffered from heat stroke before. According to a survey conducted last month by the World Green Organization, temperatures inside the subdivided room in Kwun Tong reached 35.7 degrees, 5 degrees higher than the outdoor temperature recorded by the observatory. That increases the risk of heat stroke, insomnia and other health problems, according to the group. It said temperatures remain high during the night because of the cramped living conditions, heat from cooking and other electric appliances. The organisation is calling for action to help people who risk health problems because their homes lack facilities.
The household, they need to spend at least 30% higher in electricity tariff, per kilowatt hour. So they pay more than the normal people. And the subsidies provided by the Hong Kong government, when we're talking about the 1,800, cannot reach the tenant directly. Instead, that was taken by the landlord.
You wants a foundation set up to make sure subsidies go directly to the tenants to pay for air conditioning and energy-saving lighting. You also wants the government to dig into the community care fund to help solve housing problems and ease the financial burden of poor families. For years, the government has been under pressure to tackle the housing crisis that has forced many Hong Kongers to live in these conditions. The scale of the problem was highlighted earlier this year after a government survey found that 171,300 people live in 66,900 subdivided flats across the city. Yeung, ATV News.
Police in Japan have clashed with hundreds of protesters over a controversial war shrine in Tokyo.
But first, now a wrap of international news. The US has condemned a string of deadly bomb attacks in Iraq. Washington condemned the perpetrators of deadly attacks in Iraq yesterday as enemies of Islam in an unusually detailed statement following the latest violence in the war-torn country. The US State Department said the car bombs that ripped through Baghdad cafes and markets, as well as other blasts and shootings elsewhere, were cowardly attacks aimed at families celebrating the Eid holiday that marks the end of the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan. The violence killed at least 80 people and came just weeks after brazen assaults claimed by an al-Qaeda front group on prisons near Baghdad that freed hundreds of militants, which analysts warn could boost armed troops. The US State Department went further, reiterating the $10 million award offered for al-Qaeda in Iraq's purported leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who is believed to be sheltering in Syria. Several hundred anti-Yasukuni protesters marched after sunset yesterday evening with candles and flags to protest against the controversial shrine. But their opponents decided to gatecrash the candlelit rally and make their voices heard too, and that's when the trouble started. The Yasukuni Shrine in Tokyo is regarded in much of Asia as a symbol of Japan's wartime past. It honours around 2.5 million Japanese who died in the Second World War and other conflicts, including 14 war criminals. Japanese government officials often visit the site on the 15th of August, the anniversary of Japan's defeat in the Second World War. Japanese media have reported that Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is unlikely to visit this year, and protest organiser Masatoshi Uchida said it was time to send a message to the world that Japan has changed. Hundreds of people gathered in the US city of Miami in Florida to show their support for an 18-year-old graffiti artist killed by a police taser. The mourners said they wanted to speak out against what they slammed as police brutality. Israel Hernandez died after police tasered him as he ran away from spray painting the wall of a derelict building. He had sprayed an R, the first letter of his artist's name Rifa, when police saw him and gave chase on Tuesday. The police claimed the teen ignored their commands to stop running, so an officer used his taser electroshock gun. His friends said the officers high-fived each other after taking Hernandez down. Colombian-born Hernandez was an award-winning artist, known in the area for his paintings, sculptures and photography.
Time now for sports with Raymond Yeung.
And the US PGA Championship is coming to a close.
Well, yes, but there's no clear winner yet. While American Jim Furyk leads the pack after day 3, 7 golfers sit within 6 strokes of him in the season's final major. Sun-drenched conditions on day 3 of the US PGA Championship at Oak Hill in New York worked in favor of defending champion Rory McIlroy. The Northern Irishman birdied the final hole to finish at 3 under 207 and move within striking distance of the leaders. 2 shots ahead is Australian Adam Scott, whose fine tee shot at the par 4 14th landed on the green. But he missed the eagle putt and finished the day on 2 over 72. A pair of Swedes sit at 3rd and 4th on the board. Jonas Blix made a perfect recovery from the rough on the 18th with a shot that landed next to the cup. He captured the final of his 4 birdies to go to -6 204. Compatriot Henrik Stenson, the runner-up at the British Open last month, is hoping for his first major title at 7 under. Overnight leader Jason Dubner couldn't repeat his record-setting 63 a day ago, as the American managed a 71 for second place. Fellow American Jim Furyk made use of another steady performance to quietly climb up the leaderboard. The 43-year-old leads everyone heading into the final round with 201. But Tiger Woods' major drought is set to stay, as the 2007 winner carded another miserable day on the field. In tennis, Rafael Nadal solved Novak Djokovic to reach the Montreal Masters final. A rare clash between Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal at the semis led many to treat the match as the final of the Montreal Masters. Nadal raced to a 6-4 win in the opener, the left-handed Spaniard clearly pumped up by his performance. But his opponent, the world #1 player, was far from giving up, shifting the game's momentum to his side after taking this long rally in the second set. There was little separating the pair, who also had an epic 5-set battle at the French Open in June. But in the end, Nadal put Djokovic to rest with a 7-6 win in the decider to advance to the final.
We played at a very high level for a lot of moments, so win against Novak in any surf race is very special, but here a little bit more.
The Spaniard will meet local favourite Milos Raonic, who also endured a 3-set battle to beat compatriot Vasak Pospisil 6-4, 1-6, 7-6. In the women's draw, which is held in Toronto, unseeded Romanian Sorana Cârstier extended her surprise run as she made her way to the final. 4th-seeded mainland star Nina joined the list of the 23-year-old victims, which includes Jelena Jankovic and Caroline Wozniacki, after losing 6-1, 7-6. She will meet 2011 winner Serena Williams, who dismissed Agnieszka Radwanska in straight sets. A look at the weather before we go. Hong Kong enjoyed another fine day with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures varied from 27.7 to 33.1 degrees, while the relative humidity was between 64 and 86%. Winds were moderate coming in from the southeast. Let's check on the ultraviolet reading. The maximum recorded for the day was 12. Tomorrow's UV index will be around 12 as well. Let's take a look at the weather in the region. A while ago, severe Typhoon Uto was centered about 370 kilometers east-northeast of Manila. It's expected to move west-northwest towards northern Luzon. Locally, a ridge of high pressure is bringing fine and very hot weather to southeastern China. Here's what we can expect over the next few days. Fine and hot again tomorrow, apart from isolated showers. Temperatures will range between 28 and 33 degrees, turning cloudy with showers on Tuesday, and more rain is expected throughout the week. Now for tomorrow's air pollution levels. General stations will be low to medium at 25 to 50, and roadside pollution levels will be high at 55 to 75. And finally, here's the weather around the world.
That's our main news for Sunday night. We'll have an update in an hour. I'm Edna Ze.
I'm Raymond Yeung.
And I'm Anne-Marie Sim. Thanks for watching ATV. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
以下節目將恢復為粵語廣播。跟住落嚟係亞洲大學堂。